look at, as T1 has said goodbye today in a tweet to Crashies and Food. I didn't see this one coming, gentlemen. Didn't know where this exactly came from. I had heard that some teams knew about this because they were scrimming with T1. The wording is interesting here also, Jacob. I'll start with you on this one. The wording is interesting here, in particular what Crashy says. Thank you, T1, for the amazing opportunity. Very hard to step down, but felt like it was needed with the way the team was headed. Wishing everyone the best and thank you again. So the words there, step down, seem to imply that at least for Crashies, that's Crashy's tweet, that he made this decision himself. What do you think?
I think this team is in a rough spot more generally. They were the hot commodity at the very beginning of the Ignition series, at the very beginning of the scene. You know, they were like really dominant, but everybody caught up over these like past few months, right? Like, and everybody exceeded past them. This team always felt like an odd marriage in the sense that like AZK and Brax and Skadoodle, all I by power guys, all really top Counter-Strike players in their own right, incredibly respected, paired with these two guys who really never made it in Counter-Strike. Crashies and Food were good CS players, but they never really made it to an irrelevant stage of Counter-Strike in their careers. So bringing them into this team always felt like it was a little bit of like a Las Vegas wedding in a sense, but like to me, like, so I'm not terribly surprised by the news to answer that question. But at the end of the day, like I was not confident after probably one or two tournaments into this that like this was the right marriage for T1 on a roster.
So one half of this surprises me. So Crashies, I can give a little bit of info about. Before the most recent Pop Flash tournament, I had a few people come to me and tell me Crashies is out. They're like, Crashies is done. Crashies is leaving the team. He's stepping down. He's leaving. He's gone. And it went back and forth until I was told, oh yeah, he's playing for one more tournament. He's going to play in one more tournament. He's going to play with T1 for this last tournament and then reassess his options afterwards. And we saw this happen where, and I brought this up before, where right now we've seen Brax kind of become that lurker, play those anchor roles where at the start of Valorant, they tried to have him be that TenZ or Wardell type of entry star carry player where he's, entry fragging, getting all the kills, and it just didn't work. He wasn't looking as proficient and as comfortable as he really did on other agents like Omen, where he could do more of that lurking style, use more of his cerebral nature to kind of get ahead. And now we're seeing him play a lot more Killjoy, Cypher, which is also Crashy's main agent. So that wasn't really surprising to see Crashies leave. They tried him to play, the Phoenix and play him a more entry type of agents. It didn't really work out. I think he's one of the best Cypher players in North America. So if you're a team looking for a really strong anchor player, I would pick up Crashies immediately. Food was the one that surprised me, because all I've heard about Food from talking to various people, various pros in the scene who've played against him, is that he's he's a special talent. He's a very special talent that when he's directed in the right way and he's in the zone, he's a TenZ level type player where he can put up 30 kills per game. And we've seen this time and time again in the group stages of these Ignition Series tournaments, where if you look just like at the group stages of, the FaZe Invitational and the, Nerd Street Gamer Showdown and the PAX Arena Invitational, he is a monster. He's putting up regularly 25 kills a game. His ACS is over 300. First blood's out of the wazoo. And then when it comes to the playoffs, he's kind of shrunk a little. He hasn't been as good in the playoffs as you'd want to expect or to lean upon your ace player. So for Food, it was really surprising. And I do think it's because T1 is moving in more of a veteran direction, Arda, and we have a bit of news on that. So there's a lot of shuffling going on. It's very, very exciting.
Before we get to that, the veteran direction that you alluded to there, how much of this decision do you think is that leaked DM moment on stream? How much do you think that factored in?
Man, it's so hard to say. Like, it's so difficult. Like, obviously that's something that comes up. Like, it's an awkward situation. Ska was getting benched regardless because T1 thought they were ending Nitro. That was the reason why Ska was benched. Ska wasn't benched because it wasn't because there was a lot of people going, Ska, it's because of the awkwardness and the drama and people think of this and that. And I'm not saying that didn't add to the awkwardness and it didn't add to the drama of the team, but he was originally benched because they thought they were in Nitro and Nitro was going to step into that, what I would believe was the Jet operating role, or at least AZK would with Nitro shot calling. So he would be the one left outside the door with him, grinding the game to see if he can get back up to it and expand his agent pool. So I think it probably added to the awkwardness. There's no way it didn't, but I don't think that was the catalyst of why Skadoodle was benched. He was benched because they thought they got Nitro, and they were the leaders of the Nitro sweepstakes up until 100 Thieves dropped the golden bag.
Until they weren't.
Yeah, until 100 Thieves was like, let's just open up some 100K, 200K, 300K. Let's just, why not? You're Nitro. You're a god. Let's go in. And for everyone who thought that 100 Thieves were just taking Valorant as like a small piece of their pie, they are the most aggressive team on the market by far. And love them or hate him or think he's like doesn't care about your game, Call of Duty, Valorant, League of Legends, whatever. Nadeshot is an aggressive, or his team around him are being very aggressive, and they really do see Valorant as a big piece of their future puzzle. Mm-hmm. And they've been in all these conversations. So
he's also been very blatant about how much he wants to win immediately.
He wants to win. Yeah, he wants to win. He's someone who wants to win. He thinks that Valorant is part of the 100 Thieves' future as an organization alongside League of Legends. We'll see if he dips his toe back in the Call of Duty League in the future. But for right now, let's kind of look at it, right? Where if you're investing in the Overwatch League or Call of Duty League or even LCS, you're spending 10 plus million minimum just to get into it. For Valorant, there's no access fee. So you can spend all the money you want on these rosters and buyouts and salaries. And you have the extra added, they paid a lot for Hiko, but Hiko's also a great content creator. So 100 Thieves is always thinking how they can build out their Valorant roster and how they can also just build their brand in general. So yeah, we'll talk about it a bit more, but 100 Thieves are very aggressive on the market, and Nadeshot isn't just words. He's really trying to build the best team possible.
And I just want to make a point here about this T1 roster, expand a little bit of what I said. There seems to be, and I know Tyler knows a little bit about what's going on with T1 and 100 Thieves too, to sort of add to this point. There seems to be a little bit of tribalism here in Valorant. We already saw it a little bit. I mean, there was a reason the players were so excited about our invitational earlier this year, because they want to be like, my game is better than your game. Counter-Strike better than Overwatch. Apex, you nerd, like...
Apex,
no
you
aim.
nerd. Apex in particular.
Apex won. So
hit scan, no aim. Fortnite kid, lol. The regular thing, right? Like we've seen it. We've seen Twitch chat. Anyway, so there's a lot of pride, but I actually think that pride is a little bit more granular than maybe we think. In the sense that there definitely seems to be a little bit of tribalism among the CSGO veterans coming into Valorant versus the CSGO young guys. I say that in the case of the Hikos, the Nitros, Steels, who I interviewed earlier this week. And I know like Daze has said this and a few other people, Skadoodle, Brax, AZK, like they all feel like they want to be together, and like in a way, like you're a little bit lesser if you're one of those like Food Crashies, Wardell's. Like, if you weren't ever at the top of Counter-Strike, you are not the same. And I think that tribalism is fueling the way that we're saying roster building in some of these teams. I think it will continue to fuel that. And so I think that's a huge point. I think that there is this like really like granular tick to this about people transitioning from one game to another and what their status was in the game before they got Valorant.
Okay.